and this is How to Train Your Caterpillar, a spiritual life coaching channel. You're very welcome here. Thank you for checking out the video. So this one's going to be about the solar plexus chakra, which I do not have any yellow clothes. So I'm just going with totally the opposite, which is black. So before I get into that, I just want to say, I hope you enjoy the video and you find it useful and stuff, and if you do, if you feel like liking and subscribing for me, I'd appreciate that a lot. So the solar plexus is the third chakra up from the bottom. If you want more like a bigger, like more general overview of the chakras, I have one of those, like a kind of introduction to the chakras, but this is going to be, specifically for the solar plexus. So it's kind of just around about here. It's just sort of underneath your rib cage there. The colour is yellow. It's the third one up from the bottom. So you have the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and then the solar plexus chakra. So this is another one that I really struggle with. I struggle with quite a few of my chakras, but this is one that I really struggle with. Obviously with, all the chakras, they can either be too open, or they can be too closed, or they can be balanced, which is what we're going for. We want balanced. So the solar plexus is kind of the seat of your personal power. In a nutshell, this one's all about confidence. If you have a closed solar plexus chakra, it's very likely that you will struggle with self-confidence. And it's so important because it's also the one that deals with motivation to get stuff done for yourself. Not in the same way as the root chakra, because the root chakra sort of deals with like grounding yourself and sort of being aware of the chores that you need to get done, right? Because if your root chakra is closed, it's almost like you don't see the chores that need done, right? But with the solar plexus, if it's closed or if it's blocked, there's a sense of kind of uncertainty within the self. You don't have that kind of drive, that willpower to do things for yourself. The solar plexus is all about I can. I can do that. Like, of course I can do that. I have the confidence, I have the motivation, I know what I want to go for. That's the solar plexus when it's open and balanced. That's how it should be. But if it's closed, you might be much more like, oh, I can't do that. I don't have the confidence to do that. Like, for example, say you got offered a job, right? But it would involve, maybe you would have to do like a team meeting once a month or something like that, right? And like speak in front of your colleagues. If this chakra is closed, you're gonna be like, no, I'm not gonna take that. No, I'm not doing that. Even though your boss is like obviously giving you this job, the opportunity because they think you can do it, you're gonna be like, no, I can't possibly, I can't do that. Because it's coming from like a place of like low self-esteem, like low self-confidence. Whereas if it's open, you might be like, oh well, that makes me a little nervous, but I know I can do it, right? That's kind of the difference. It's like I can, whereas if it's closed, you're like, oh, I really can't. This one can become closed for, generally it can become closed in childhood, but this one's much more prone to just being closed at any time throughout adulthood. It's one of the ones, when someone says something to you that's very harsh, or it's like some kind of insult, or they put you down or something, it's usually you can feel it. I can feel it anyway, like in the solar plexus chakra, if it's not balanced, like if it's not open and flowing and balanced. Because when it's in that state, you're not really going to care what other people think, right? Because another important thing about the solar plexus chakra is it's the seat of your instincts. So say for example, you're in a job that you don't like, right? And you're like, I don't want to do this job anymore. I want to go for something else. I want to do that, right? But maybe if your solar plexus is a little closed, you're kind of more easily swayed, right? So then maybe, I don't know, a family member or a friend or someone is like, oh, I don't think you should quit your job. I don't think you should even try to go for that. That's a very competitive industry. Are you sure you can cut it? You would need a lot of confidence, blah, blah, blah. And then if it's not, if you're not fully in your power, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, that's a good point. Like, I am being swayed by your opinion. You know what I mean? Because you're not very strong in yourself. You're kind of letting other people influence you, and you're not going with your gut. So your solar plexus is all about kind of going with your gut, having confidence, self-esteem. I can. I will leave, as I always do with these chakras, with the chakra videos, I'll leave the frequency, the overnight frequency, and the other ones that I like to use. Although you can use any one, of course, but you'll notice a difference, I promise you. Because I struggle with kind of, it's almost like you're too anxious to kind of go for what you really want, right? Or it's like a little bit of kind of depression or something like this kind of gets in the way. But if you put the solar plexus clearing frequency on overnight, I promise you, you will wake up in the morning and you'll have like motivation and like zest to get things done. You know what I mean? Like maybe, you know, you wanted to, you know, start a new exercise routine, right? But it would involve like an extra 10 minutes in the morning. If this chakra is closed, you're much more likely to be like, oh, turn the alarm off, I'm not getting up, I can't be bothered, what's the point? Whereas if it's open, you're gonna be like, okay, yeah, I really want to do this because like I want to, you know, look good, I want to feel better, I want to, yeah, get these exercises done. It's like get up out of bed, get the coffee, you know what I mean? It's like the motivation to get it done. So it's really, yeah, I want to clarify this as well. Like it really is about kind of trusting your gut and like trusting yourself, you know, because also when you're suffering with this chakra being closed, you're really, like I keep saying, you don't have the self-confidence, so it's very easy for other people to put you down, because there's always going to be someone waiting, right? Someone who doesn't like themselves, someone who only feels good when they're aggrandizing themselves at someone else's expense, right? There's always going to be someone like that out there. Even decent people, when they get offered this choice to put someone else down at their own expense, often they take it, right? It's just human nature. And if you're struggling with this chakra, you're much more likely to just kind of cow and be like, okay, that's fine, I'll just do what you say, that's fine, I'll just be your sidekick, yes, okay, yes, master, you know, just put me down, that's fine. But if this is open and flowing freely and balanced, you'll be like, don't talk to me like that, get out of here, you know what I mean? Who do you think you are? You know, you're much more likely to fire back because you have that personal power. You may also, like I was saying earlier, if it's not open, you may suffer from kind of feeling a bit bleh, like you don't really know what you want to do, you don't really know what you want to go for. Like, you know, like I was talking about with the exercises, people that have this chakra very balanced, they, you know, they tend to be very motivated. They get up in the morning, they get boom, 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 done, right? You know, they'll do their exercises, they'll do things for themselves that are going to make their life better, right? And they have the motivation to do that because they know it's important to invest in themselves. Whereas if it's closed, you know, you can't, it's almost like you don't think you're a worthwhile investment. So it's like, oh, I'm not going to do any of that stuff. I'm just going to fall back in on myself and just sit here and drink coffee and be sad. You know what I mean? On the other hand, if the chakra is too open, you might find yourself being very controlling, very stubborn, very bossy, very critical, because it's like you're kind of becoming that other person, right? Like, not that you're too confident, but it's almost like you're kind of infringing on other people's rights. Do you know what I mean? You get to that point where you have too much motivation and you're like, well, I'm just going to take over here and you should be doing this, 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 and this, you know, which is, you know, fine to a point if you're the boss, but, you know, at the same time, there's even if you're the boss, there's like a level of kind of give and take, right, that you don't really want to be overstepping the mark. So like with the other chakras, I don't really have that much to say. This chakra is fairly easy to understand. You know, it's about confidence and like yeah, self-esteem, having the motivation to go after things that you want, believing that you can. So, you know, like the other chakras, I will leave all the frequencies, the meditations that I use in the description box. Obviously, you use whatever ones you want. I'm not affiliated with the channel that makes them, I just really like them. So there's like an overnight one, excuse me, that's really effective, because obviously it gets past your subconscious, you know, because that's the main block, is when your brain's overthinking and being like, I don't believe this is gonna work. Whereas if you're sleeping, it can't really do that. But there's also, you know, a quicker one that I will list down there, and there's a super quick one as well. But like I will say with all of these, if it's your first time kind of unblocking your chakras, make sure you do it in a private place, because you don't know how this is going to affect you. This might be a real problem for you, the solar plexus one. You know, maybe you've never had a lot of self-esteem or whatever, so you have a lot to come out, might make you cry, whatever. So you can obviously, because each of the chakras vibrates, everything vibrates at a frequency, or like a vibration. So there's a certain vibration each chakra resonates with. So the meditations and the frequencies work to that frequency. You can also, you know, the color of this chakra, like I said earlier, it's yellow. So you can wear yellow. You can surround yourself with yellow, you can eat yellow food, natural yellow food, not like, you know, poisonous colorings, but like bananas and sweet corn and stuff like this. You can use yellow crystals. I'm sure there's other crystals that you can use as well, but generally a good rule of thumb is like, whatever the color of the chakra is, go for crystals of that color. You know, if you don't know too much about crystals, just go for a yellow one, because, you know, like citrine is gonna work for it. What else? You can also chant. The chant for this chakra is Ram. You can use affirmations, of course. I always forget that one because I tend to go for the sound frequency, because I'm kind of lazy, and like sound frequency is something you can just put on in the background, you know. But you can use affirmations. There's also yoga, different yoga poses. If you're into yoga, different yoga poses will help open different chakras as well. So I think that's everything about the solar plexus. I hope this was a useful reading. Sorry, I'm so used to doing the tarot. I hope this was a useful video. Hope you found the information useful. Thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for me if you feel like doing that. I appreciate it a lot. And as always, many blessings, love and light.